Holy crap, our tutorial case is a prequel? Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know. What suspicious behavior? Or does Grossberg just have a really weird sense of humor? Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Wright? Actually, it's Wright. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. Really? That's the first I'm hearing of this. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. Why did this game have to remind me of a time where nearly everyone had to wear masks? If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please let go of my shirt. Seriously, Mia, the man is a cold. You want in on that? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense. Yes. Well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you? And even until her death, Mia still sucked at lying. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo. Really? Not even gonna hazard a guess at the dangling electrical cable? Though I guess the electricity is a bit hard to see in a black and white photograph. A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I'm a genteel man, if you will. That's E-list. I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. Ugh, my hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Now I know why you're called Grossberg. I still can't examine my attorney's badge? Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some type of new, super powerful stun gun, perhaps? The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. Why not just tell him now? You have the photo right there. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time, I would like to see some supporting evidence. You say you want evidence, but do you really? I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe! Thanks for laying out the contradiction for me, defendant, except it's a contradiction in the statements and not with the court record. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe? Yes, well... he was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. And that tells you he's a British wannabe. How? He could also just be a vexiologist, or just love studying the world. On the side, though, his major is in pharmacology. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me! Please forgive me! You're telling me this pathetic man-child will go on to become a skilled defense attorney in the future? Also, what was even the point of this first testimony? Just to give us a taste of what little trust Phoenix actually had in Mia at first? Because we never see anything whatsoever that ties into this whole Union Jack and British wannabe business with the victim. Mia, you've made our client cry! Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. He is, however, some other word that starts with P that we won't say out of fear of receiving an M rating from the ESRB. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken. Broken? Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. So the wristwatch stopped at 3:05, but the autopsy report still gives the estimate of 3 p.m. even though they have the exact time. Oh, my buttocks! My poor hemorrhoids! Either stop clutching them so much or shut up! I don't want to hear it! I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days. The date of the incident was 2 days ago. If he was taking Cold Killer X the whole time, why hadn't he been wearing his mask while he was there at the scene? Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Marketing. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Why are we having the defense do this job? Shouldn't it be the prosecutor establishing the murder method? But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that! Actually, I had totally forgotten about that. You totally forgot? This is one of the most basic rules. That's not something you just forget. What is that? Everybody facepalm in 3, 2, 1. My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. Stop it with the hemorrhoid! You know what? Counting this in as well, I'll add one for every other time he talks about his hemorrhoids. No! No. It's the third game of the series and we're still at it with overestimating passages of time. It wants me to believe that 1 hour and 52 minutes have passed since the trial began. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes though. It sure was, Mia, because look, it actually went for 21 minutes. That's cheating. If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size. And I will bash them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. I know, right? It's bad enough they're totally accepting of committing senseless acts of violence in a courtroom. She's going to be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. Even with her radiant beauty, I find it hard to believe it was that easy. Surely they'd heard about the incidents involving her, right? Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. I know Dahlia's trying to keep this facade going so no one suspects her, but this is a bit much, don't you think? It's good to see you again, Madame Faye. Madame? I'm no one's grandma yet, girly. No one's grandma yet? Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never. Miss Faye, I will not allow you to badger this witness! You called her a liar first, dude. So, obviously, the contradiction to Dahlia's new statement about not hearing anything unusual is the broken umbrella found at the scene. But even though the umbrella breaking was the sound Phoenix heard, I can't just present the umbrella itself. Nope! I gotta present Phoenix's statement about the noise he heard. I know that's the more direct evidence, but Mia's brain should not suddenly go into sleep mode if I try presenting the umbrella. If the umbrella's not gonna help prove anything, why even bother adding it to the court record? She said something that could totally change this whole case. Why do we even try this? I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me. Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? Just be happy you wouldn't be alive to hear most of them. So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away. And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time. This would have been a good opportunity to ask Mr. Payne how many palm prints were actually found on the leather jacket, but that's right, Mia's not experienced enough at that point to ask that kind of question. After Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands! Mia's being just as brazen as Payne was before. How many palm prints were actually found on the leather jacket? Was it just that one print or were there more? So the victim listed his name Diego Armando. Despite what this report may have led us to believe, he's not actually dead. I know it's never specified whether he died or just went into a coma, but it is strange how it leads you down that path at first. We're so lovey-wovey we literally make people sick! It's just jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court! Seriously, a bit of court etiquette could help make your transition to being a tough lawyer seem a bit more credible. No! That's a lie! Ah! Phoenix writes him to the extreme. Where's Mr. Wright? It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough. How can you tell? You haven't left the defense bench since you gave the report to Mia. Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy. That's the only thing that could have saved him. I don't care how much he trusted the Dahlia he knew. There's no way you could convince me that it made sense for him to just snatch the evidence. It was going to get tested for poison, and he's just trying to take the fall for it? What breed of stupid was he in college? I ate it. Excuse me, I thought he was a simp before. No, this is when he starts becoming a simp, and at the risk of his own life, too. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. Or maybe the poison is just slow acting, and what a delay that would have been for the next 14 years. Wait, Miss Faye, you tell him! Dolly didn't do it! She's innocent! You just got done talking about how she was kneeling down next to the victim. Why would I let up on my attack on her now? What a simp! It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. If you are only allowing one piece of evidence, why is the penalty only 30% of the confidence gauge? Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Foreshadowing. I refuse to accept this! The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim! Winston Payne is a sore loser and an even bigger simp than Phoenix. Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said, There, it's alright, rookie. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life! I can understand doing a flashback for that second line, but not the first. No! My hair is flying off! My beautiful hair! Oh no! No! So that's why Winston Payne has that bald spot. Game time could not have been 3 hours and 3 minutes since the proceedings resumed. The Dahlia that I saw up there on the witness stand, I don't think that was really her. Phoenix is right about this, but we're just gonna go through the whole game thinking he was just being delirious. Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying, but I thought you were in the art department. Actually, now that Mia mentions it, why was Phoenix in the art department if he was supposed to have been studying law?